Animals are a very important part of the ecosystem of our planet. And, although we have studied them to the point of exhaustion, every day we find new species that surprise us with their abilities, or we discover new talents in creatures that we already believed we knew perfectly. Our world is full of surprises, and the discoveries of animals in the last decade are sure to leave you speechless. Have you ever witnessed strange behavior that no one has ever seen in an animal? Well, get ready, because you are about to observe some, and know the craziest things that we recently discovered about animals. And for some extra fun, find our mascot Ned, hiding throughout the video. Ant-worshipping spiders. You surely think that spiders are dangerous animals, that they do not hesitate to catch other small insects in their cobwebs, then eat them, and leave no trace of them. But a new species of spider discovered in the desert of Chihuahua, Mexico, will make you change the way you see arachnids. According to the scientists who discovered it, this spider greatly enjoys the company of ants, so much so, that it could be said that they adore them. Turns out, this arachnid spends most of her time buried in a bunch of ants, as if they were her best friends. Researchers do not yet know why this behavior occurs, so we will have to wait to know more details about this interesting relationship between spiders and ants. The Narwhals Tusk. At first glance, these cetaceans could be considered aquatic unicorns due to the characteristic tusk protruding from their heads. Despite having been discovered in 1758, only in 2017 were we able to identify some of the functions of this unique tusk. According to experts, the tusk of the narwhals has two main functions: to perceive the amount of salt in the water, and to aid in its reproduction. These cetaceans have a need to constantly measure the salinity of the water. If the salinity is very high, it could mean that they are close to an iceberg, so they could die frozen. As for its second function, the size of the tusk in males is proportional to the size of its reproductive organ, thus attracting more females with which to reproduce. Maternal instinct. This is an instinct present in all mammal species, including humans. If a mother feels that her child is in danger, she will not hesitate to activate her superpowers and go in search of her child. We knew this long ago, but a recent study of female deer revealed that this instinct may be stronger than we thought. The study consisted of reproducing sounds of endangered calves of different species to a female deer. Hearing the sounds of cats, humans, and even bats, the doe reacted immediately, searching for the source of the sound as if it were her own calves. This instinct is quite incredible and tender, it knows no species barriers. A new water bear. Have you ever seen a water bear? Surely not, since these animals are microscopic, so they can only be seen through special instruments, such as a microscope. In case you hadn't heard of them, tardigrades, as they are also called, have 8 legs, a large body, and measure less than a millimeter. Something fascinating about these animals is their ability to live in extreme hot or cold conditions. The discovery of a new species of water bear was made by a Japanese researcher by analyzing moss residue that she scratched from her apartment. The most curious thing about this new tardigrade is that it is apparently a vegetarian. So be careful, you could have a tiny bear eating your plants. The Burmese nose monkey. This is not an entirely new species of monkey. In fact, to Burmese people, it has been a fairly well-known animal for several years. Despite this new species was barely registered by science in 2010. The most striking feature of this monkey is that it has a nose so flat or small that it is practically non-existent, and although this gives it a rather tender appearance, it is quite problematic because, when it rains, this species sneezes uncontrollably all the time. As a curious fact, the Burmese noseless monkey is also known as the Michael Jackson monkey, due to the myth that was generated around the nose of this great artist. The gecko fighting crime. If you thought that superheroes only existed in the human species, prepare to be very surprised, because this new gecko that has been discovered recently has everything you need to fight against the evil that threatens the animal world. Unfortunately, this little gecko does not have superpowers, but all of one's attitude and appearance. Also called a psychedelic gecko, this animal is characterized by having bright orange spots on its front and rear legs, making it very similar to a superhero with boots and gloves. This new species of gecko is only present on the island of Hon Coi, Vietnam, so if you want to know it, a long journey awaits you. This gecko is my new favorite superhero. The Creepy Wasp. This new species of warrior wasp was discovered on Sulawesi Island, Indonesia in 2011. Also known as the king of wasps, this new species appears to have come out of the worst nightmares of the world's most violent criminals. Males of their species are about the length of a finger, and their jaws are so large that they are longer than their limbs. Despite how evil and creepy they look, scientists have been unable to find these wasps alive, so the only thing they have managed to study is their carcasses. Is it possible that an even more horrifying creature is killing the king of wasps? If so, it is better that they never be discovered. The ninja frog. Incredible as it may seem, this new species of frog was discovered thanks to someone who noticed the difference between its squawk and that of the frogs already known in the region. However, the most surprising thing about this discovery is that this frog has been living for many years in New York City, United States, right under the noses of its inhabitants. The ninja frog was discovered in 2011, and studies are still underway on it to give it a proper name. How does an animal manage to survive in an environment as dangerous and populated as New York? Hopefully, scientists can get us out of this doubt quickly. This amphibian is undoubtedly a survivor. 360-degree vision. Evolution is a wonderful natural process, as it allows animals and humans to adapt correctly to new environments or difficulties, and the goblin is the best example of this. Because its habitat is about 2 blocks length below the water and little light reaches it, this fish developed the ability to see up, down, and both ways at once. According to studies carried out on this strange fish, its eyes have several pairs of retinas, which allow it to reflect the light that comes from the surface, as well as the bioluminescence generated by other species. Perhaps the goblin is not the most beautiful fish in the sea, but it has undoubtedly been able to adapt to the difficult conditions of its habitat. Amazing. Birds adapt to radiation. Birds are wonderful animals and worth admiring. Within their multiple abilities is the ability to fly and the ability to locate in space, only with their instincts and environmental cues, such as air temperature and barometric pressure. And recently, a study added a new talent to our winged friends, resisting radiation. According to scientists, birds that live in places with very high radiation, for example Chernobyl, radioactive birds develop a kind of antioxidant in their bodies that allows them to combat radiation molecules that they receive from the environment, thus reducing the damage caused to their DNA. The most surprising thing about this discovery is that if the radiation levels they receive increase, the same happens with the antioxidants that protects them. It is as if they have a protective shield that improves, depending on the circumstances. Scorpions are architects. For a long time, science believed that scorpion burrows were simple holes below the ground, designed to meet their physiological needs. However, an Israeli scientist discovered that these little insects are all artists. After taking a closer look at the scorpion's habitat, this researcher realized that their burrows have several levels. They all start with a short vertical entrance, which leads to a warm horizontal platform, where scorpions regulate their temperature before going hunting at night. Then, the platform leads to a much more refreshing kind of room, to spend the hottest days. Who would have said that these insects lived so well? The origin of dolphins. Dolphins are considered one of the smartest species on the planet, and enjoy interacting with humans, which they do very often. And, according to a new study, they've been here much longer than we have. Thanks to research carried out on a dolphin fossil found in 1977, a group of scientists managed to determine that these cetaceans existed 6 million years earlier than previously thought. With that in mind, it is estimated that the ancestors of dolphins date back 12 million years. This new discovery has allowed us to solve several unknowns regarding the origin of these intelligent animals. It is amazing how only a fossil can give us so much information about the past of our planet and the animals that lived on it. As you could see, the animal kingdom never ceases to amaze us. And, as much as science is dedicated to studying it in detail and commitment, new species appear every day that seem to challenge everything we know about the species that share the planet with us. Would you like to find new species of animals and study them? Let us hope that the world of science will soon reveal new and wonderful things to us in the animal world. Thanks for watching the video and see you next time. Remember to hit the bell icon after you subscribe, so you can get instant notifications for all our new videos.